Hello and welcome to Top Fives, the show of everything. Top Fives, presented by the Sex Effects. I'm Joey Prati.
And I'm Sean Day.
And folks, we have a particularly posh episode for you this evening. We have
Very
I mean,
posh.
it's going to be Teen Strumpets is what it's going to be. So, but before we get to all of that, people are like, before you get to all of what? Don't worry about it. Just go along on this ride with us. Jonathan, how are you doing, my friend?
Good man. It's we were just saying off air. It's been pretty hot. I think both in Los Angeles and San Francisco. So yeah. I've got the fans going. So if you guys hear any background noise, it's probably my fan. But yeah, everything's been good, man. Preparing for
Very
our
nice.
baby shower this weekend, which Joey and Alicia are kind enough to come by and say hello. So uh, yeah, preparing
Yeah,
for
just coming
that.
by and saying hello.
No, it's no. They're coming by and celebrating the baby shower with us and some family and friends and stuff. So excited, kind of overwhelmed by it a little bit because I have to plan some stuff and get food and all that jazz. But I'm excited for it to happen. I'm also excited for it to be done because
Oh yeah, like any
it's
event.
yeah. And then we can kind of, obviously prepare for everything. So, but yeah, I mean, we haven't. I was sick one week, and then I think I had Flynn's birthday this last Tuesday, so that was really cool. We went to Knott's Berry Farm, which was really nice.
Lovely.
He turned 5 years old, which is even crazier. So he's getting older now, and he starts school in August. So it's just
Starting to wear spectacles. He's got a few gray hairs coming
he's
in.
got some
Like,
gray hairs,
you
and his
know,
voice is dropping and everything. So yeah,
I asked
so
you to call him Flanagan by his, his
yeah,
full name.
Flanagan, hey. But yeah, it's been a kind of eventful, but also like yeah, the week where I was sick, it kind of sucks, and like I was kind of out for the count. But yeah, other than that, it's been a good time so far, and
Very nice.
yeah, just trying to escape this heat now. So
Yeah, dude, it's 95. It's been 95 in the city all day today.
woo,
My mom texted me. She was like, "I'm baking like a toaster strudel out here."
oh my
It's a
gosh,
Sandlot reference for any of those eagle-eared viewers out there. But yeah, man, it's been wild. Been working a lot and working on personal projects and
there we go.
consuming as much as I can in terms of like television and that sort of thing. But yeah, personal news. I finished a novel, man.
Dude,
Or at least I finished typing it up. It needs to be, edited real badly.
but it's a
But
completed work so far.
yes, I have a
Whoa.
completed manuscript.
Oh my God.
I looked at the word count or whatever, or it's like, all right, what is the specific, what makes a novella between a novel? Well, novella is 20 to 40,000 words. A novel is 50,000, and
Okay.
my document had 56,000. So I was
Whoa.
like, all right, I'm in novel territory, I guess.
Dang.
So
Is this
yeah, so
is
that was
this
kind of
what
cool.
you typed on your typewriter too? Right?
Yeah, so I did about 450 pages on my typewriter last year. Um, it took me a solid month to reread that thing, and I was like, this is terrible. But I was taking little chapters and making little short stories, and I was like, well, what if I just took the good bits and strung those together and cut out all of the unnecessary things that I think maybe are necessary, but are just, kind of flat or don't, you know. And then any new chapters, I went back to the typewriter. I was like, I can't mess with that. You know what I mean? It's the
Yeah.
first draft on the typewriter, and then when I type it up, I go, oh, okay, I can delete this and I can change that.
Well, that's good.
Um, but yeah,
Dang.
now it's
That's
all
a
digitized, and
okay. It's digitized.
yeah,
It's got
it's all
dang. All right.
it's yeah, the PDF's like 212 pages or something.
Oh my God.
Not that I'm like
That's cool though,
counting.
man. Like it's quite an accomplishment for something like that. For just just sinking into it and getting it all out. Right. I think that's probably one of the harder
Yeah.
parts.
Well,
Right.
I mean, I think you could attest to this. Any large scale project that you have, especially a personal one, that you feel you have to complete before you move on to whatever's next.
Yeah.
Um, Sometimes that can just be a weight, or whatever on your back, and you're just like, I've only got one more chapter left. I've only got two more left. I've only got, in your instance, four tracks left. I can do this, but you're not as, I don't know. It's more like I just got to get it out, and I can't. You know what I mean? Like it takes a lot longer. It's probably not the best conditions to create under, but
For sure, for sure.
at a certain point, you got to. All right, I got to get it out. I got to get it done. I got to move on to the next thing because this is just.
This
I
is
feel
like,
guilty if I work on anything else. I feel guilty if I'm reading and not writing. You know what I mean? So it's like just fucking get it done. Um,
dude,
there we
that's
go.
awesome.
You see how much I'm sweating right now?
Dude, I know.
Anyway,
I'm like, my room
anyway,
is. Yeah, I can feel the. Yeah, I can feel it real hard right now.
yeah. Um, let's see what else, man. Fucking saw your dad, saw Andrew Hopkins. We went to the St. Francis the Wolf album release party. It was great.
Yeah, that's
He
right.
played great. Heard some new tunes. It was fantastic. Trying to think what else, man. We had Father's Day. We had a beautiful Father's Day, hanging out in the backyard. Saw my pops, brought him some ice cream. It's kind of, and just working and writing and working in the backyard. I've been doing a lot of gardening lately.
Ooh, little gardening action. Sorry, I'm gonna try to get the light. It's like,
oh no, you know what? And I think that's I got to talk to you about this. I got a new light bar for my camera or for my computer, and it's just a bit of a light, but I can feel the heat from the light, but it looks better than as it does right now, right?
Any of these
so that
lights
looks better than
that are attached to make things better for your video camera. It sucks.
Making it hot, kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this one, I gotta hand it to them. It's the BenQ Halo light bar.
Is it the one that kind of hovers over your screen almost?
So yes, it kind of hovers, and there's a back end, so it almost clips or it just rests on the back.
Okay.
And this part, the back end of it, like if this is your computer screen, the light is hanging over here, and then this is the back. The front creates like a spotlight onto my desk. If I'm writing in my notebook or looking at my keyboard, I have a spotlight. It's no longer in the dark. And the back side of it is also a light, so it bounces light off of the wall. And creates this nice kind of I don't know what. Yeah. I'm sweating too much to even put fucking words together.
It's all good.
And I'm sipping on a gin and tonic to just quench the thirst. I don't know if it's working.
Gin and tonic? I just got water. Baby. I've been just drinking lots of water. That's actually been most of my week so far. It's just lots of consumption of water. And,
that's smart.
Yeah, just sitting in because I told Joey this, but I don't have an air conditioner unit in this room, unfortunately. So I'm in the process of talking to our landlord and seeing if we can get like an extra unit in here somehow. I have this gigantic fan that I have over here, but I didn't want to turn it on because it might be like too much for the microphone. But yeah, the heat is it sucks. I've realized the heat is definitely taking its toll on my computer. That's why we've had probably some issues in the past with the podcast. But yeah, I mean,
I'm glistening right now.
I know, glisten.
I'm fucking glistening. All right, so what are we talking about?
We haven't talked.
There's so many things.
I know. There's like so much since we last podcasted. So
I told you about my light bar. It's pretty dope. Highly recommend.
Okay.
BenQ. The Halo. I told you about my novel. Very excited. Do we want to talk? We got so much to talk about.
Dude, I know. Have you been following the Ezra Miller shit?
I was just gonna say, do we want to talk about Ezra? Or do we want to talk about Obi-Wan? Before we even get to that, I don't know, because you're not a big comic book guy, but like one of my favorite artists of all time, Tim Sale, we met him at WonderCon, and he did Batman the Long Halloween and Superman for All Seasons. He's a brilliant artist. He passed away kind of unexpectedly last week, and kind of got me down, man, looking through all his old art. And that's the first bit of news. I just got to get R.I.P. Tim Sale. He brought a lot of wonderful work.
I think I have when we went to go see him. I think I had because he did some of the artwork for Heroes, the TV show,
Yes,
and
yes.
I had a booklet.
Just one, but a couple girls, and one girl who he has known and groomed since she was 12 and is now 18. Um, they're on the run together. No one knows where he is. Ezra Miller has been, um, or the family, I should say, of the other family that he groomed, got a restraining order, and it was granted by a judge, and the cops can't deliver it to Ezra Miller because he's on the run with this 18-year-old girl. He's 29 or 30, by the way. Every news story, I don't think this should be part of the story, but every news story, it's in every time you read about it, they include this, and so I feel like it needs to be addressed. Ezra Miller, who goes by they, them pronouns. Ezra Miller, for a few years now, will wear dresses on the red carpet. He says he identifies as queer, but that he likes girls and he's a boy.
Yeah, so it's a lot of difference.
And, you know, instead of people on like Twitter and stuff being terrified for this young girl's life that he's pretty much kidnapped, he coursed her with LSD and marijuana and alcohol and blah, 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 blah. People are like, hey, his pronouns are they, them. And like, yes, let's use the correct ones. But it's so weird to me that we're so quickly defending a child molester. That's what it is. If he's known this girl and been grooming her since she was 12 years old, like, you know what I mean? Like, why does he deserve any kind of respect? Well, I don't know. That's an unpopular opinion.
And it's whatever, wild, but especially it's insane how the stories have kind of come in. It's like one after the other, and and then the did he get dropped from the flat? Like, is he not going to?
That's what people are saying. Nothing has been confirmed by Warner Brothers. But so the thing is, they've sunk $200 million into the Flash movie. The only way they recoup expenses, they're not going to recoup any expenses, but to get some money back, they have to release this movie in theaters. How are they going to sell this fucking movie?
I don't know, man. Especially with all the controversy with Ezra Miller surrounding it.
You know?
And it's not going to be like swept under the rug, or I feel like it comes to light. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Well, and they just keep ignoring it. And this is the other part. This is the other kind of added to the whole thing, is that Warner Brothers is the same studio who hired and then fired Johnny Depp from the fucking Fantastic Beasts franchise, even though he was just accused of something for which he has now been. He's still a piece of shit. He's still, you know what I mean? Like, it's very whatever. But I'm not going to get into that. They're doing away with him, with Amber Heard, Johnny Depp's ex-wife, from the Aquaman movies. So it's just interesting that they've ignored the Ezra Miller controversy, and it's been getting bad. Like, I could see this blowing up into like an OJ level kind of thing.
Yeah, especially they have yet to find him, right? He has
them,
really,
but yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, them.
And I didn't say that thing about the pronouns or transgender, or not trans, but like, I didn't bring that up just to whatever. I'm just saying, like, that part, why is it part of the story? Because I feel like when they put that there right after their name, you know, Ezra Miller, who identifies as non-binary, it's like, are they trying to say that Ezra Miller is representative of all non-binary people? Because that's fucked up. They shouldn't be doing that. You know what I mean? Like, it bears no weight as far as I'm concerned on what his actions have been. And if anything, it makes it seem like he's hiding behind those pronouns to cover his ass. And maybe that's why they're being lenient on him. I don't know.
It's a sticky situation, but I don't know, man. I'm curious to see what happens, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's another article or whatever comes out next week.
Well, did you see that they posted on Instagram at the height of everyone talking about Ezra Miller and they can't find him? the son of a bitch posts on Instagram stories like, "You'll never find me. I'm in another universe. I'm in a different plane of existence. Fuck you." Like, he's taunting the police at this point.
Jeez, man.
What are they going to do with this fucking movie? And, easy for us to say, just replace him in every scene he's in. He's the fucking star. He's in every scene. You know what I mean?
I remember from the trailers, there's even multiple versions.
There's multiple versions of this piece of shit. And it's the version of the character, like, the fandom was like, what'd you think of Ezra Miller's Flash?
Yeah.
I don't know. He wasn't very well received. So it's like, this is such a weird fucking hill to die on. But yeah, it's insane, man. There's going to be an amazing documentary about this shit 20 years from now.
Yeah. No, it's going to be, it's going to be interesting to see what the aftermath is going to be like. And yeah, you're right. It might reach that level as far as kind of, especially for now, it's like all these, I mean, I'm sure a lot of these places are capitalizing on, covering these stories, but it's everywhere. It's unavoidable. And of course, what will that do to the kind of, the reputation and image of releasing a Flash movie, which, I don't know if it's going to be any good or anything, but that's going to be hard. That's a hard bet, right? To have this guy and is not doing great things for it even before the release of the movie. So.
Well, and not only that, you've got Andy Muschietti, I believe is the director's name, who has poured a bunch of years into this project. You've got the newcomer, I forget her name, apologies, but she's playing Supergirl. So you've got these career launching, Michael Keaton's coming back, Ben Affleck's coming back. You've got these things, and now the whole thing is just soured. It's completely fucking soured. I don't know if you saw Andy Muschietti so the director of The Flash, drew like a variant cover for DC. I'm hoping he drew it months and years ago. But DC in their infinite wisdom decided to release it like last week and then immediately pulled it because it's a drawing of Ezra Miller's Flash, butt fucking naked, running into his costume. So he's got like one foot and one leg in, but you see the side of his butt, and he's naked from the waist up. And it's like, this was not well thought out. Like,
man, yeah, that's questions like these decisions that get made on that level.
Interesting, to say the least.
I can't wait to keep up to date on podcasts with this Ezra Miller stories because it's just pretty wild. And it's just like unbelievable. Like, and then you hear, and then I think I heard another thing about some other 12-year-old like family.
Mm-hmm.
Like
so there's two families.
Two families, right?
Yeah, and the girl he currently has in his, not possession, but you know what I mean, is a young indigenous woman. You know what I mean? And so that's the other part of it is like, holy fuck, he's not just an endangered. Or an endangerment to women, he's an endangerment to indigenous women. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it carries so many different levels to it. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen the star of a movie implode, such an expensive fucking movie, implode in this way. And, like, did they dump it onto streaming? Do they just throw it in the vault? Do they quietly release it into theaters? What the fuck happened?
What's the move on WB's part? Yeah. And it's slated for next year, right? So next year.
Yeah, it was going to come out this year, and now it's like July of 23 or something like that.
Damn.
But it's supposed to come out, I think, this month.
Dude, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone's going to forget about it or forget about these things.
Every time you think we're about to, Ezra is on the news again. Did you see the video of him like, yelling at the cops and running away from the cops and shit?
Yeah, I saw that video. Yeah.
Shit's nuts. And apparently he's always packing guns and shit on his person. It's whatever.
He gives me he gives me like, do you know who I am vibes? You know what I
mean? Like, yeah. It's kind of like, I mean, you're pretty mid-tier, dude. You're not really. You're with a bunch of A-listers and talent, maybe wise. I doubt it, but like, you ain't fucking top tier, homie. You know, like, who the fuck are you? Is what I'm saying.
Who are you? Damn. Yeah, the Ezra Miller saga continues. So
wild.
Probably have some updates in the next week, I'm sure.
Insane.
Because they're gonna eventually catch him, right? Like.
I mean, unless something really bad happens.
Unless something really bad happens, or he's cleared out of the country or something. But yeah, I think eventually he's gonna eventually.
I hate the not knowing. I just want to know.
I just want to know.
What
are you doing?
We never know what he's doing. Back there. Speaking of something that I don't know what the fuck they're doing, have you been watching Obi-Wan?
I have, yes, and I'm caught up with the fifth episode. Is it fifth? Fourth?
Yeah.
Episode? Yeah.
We got one more left.
I enjoyed the last episode. I guess it'd be the fifth episode because it felt like there was more kind of development with the Inquisitor characters. It was cool to see Hayden Christensen, even though we all knew he was going to be back in the show or whatever. But yeah, I was expecting a little bit more from this Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Like, you know, there are times where it's cool to see Obi-Wan, you know, kind of be, you know, they're trying to like set this whole thing up of him. Where he's at right now, or 10 years later, right? And, you know, he's trying to get over this whole thing of his Padawan, you know, Anakin turning to the dark side. And at that time, knowing that he was dead at the time. And so, you know, it's a good place to start. You know, he has a lot of, you know, kind of demons to conquer and kind of, you know, questions to ask himself on, you know, is he worthy of, you know, being someone who will continue being a Jedi, or, you know, be part of the Force and everything like that. But yeah, it's been kind of hot and cold for me. Like that last episode, like
fucking boring.
Yeah, it's
fucking boring. It's illogical. It betrays the fucking characters. You know, and people can say they can work around the whole mind canon all they want, but, you know, Obi-Wan didn't meet Princess Leia, spoiler, for A New Hope. Obi-Wan and Vader didn't meet and battle each other until A New Hope after the fucking episode 3 battle. You know what I mean? Like, when I left you, I was but the learner, now I am the master. How the fuck can you conflate that into anything but that situation?
Yeah.
So the show is, it's not Boba Fett bad. Boba Fett is an atrocity of lack of imagination as far as I'm concerned, but this comes fucking close. Reva, why do we give a shit about Reva? Why did Vader let Reva enter if she knew all along and blah? Like, it's so fucking convoluted and stupid. Just tell a simple story about Obi-Wan looking after Luke, but instead we get this bullshit reason he's got to go find the lake. Like, you're telling me Bail Organa can find fucking Obi-Wan in a cave, but he can't locate his own daughter? What the fuck? And then to be like, hi Obi-Wan, I know that we said no communication, but the writers needed a really fucking convenient plot device, so I'm calling you. And Reva's gonna find it later, and like it's so fucking stupid. They kind of de-aged Hayden Christensen, so he looks like a middle-aged teenager. It's so fucking weird. I don't know. Obi-Wan's my favorite character in all of Star Wars, right? Alec Guinness version. But, like, I've never, ever wanted to see Obi-Wan use a blaster. Why? Because he says himself, like, it's a random, or barbaric weapon whatever. I don't know. This lightsaber is a civilized weapon for a more civilized time, where it's not as random and clumsy as a blaster, right? Yeah. So seeing Obi-Wan just fucking use a blaster and not be able to use it well, and then seeing the shortcuts in terms of filmmaking, bad, shoddy CGI. There's that one shot of him and when they first meet, the rematch of the century. And Obi-Wan runs behind a hill, and they didn't even cheat the shot to make it look like a different hill. They just had him run from the other direction in front of the camera. And I was watching, and it's like, oh, they're trying to say you didn't even move the fucking camera. Like, you didn't even cheat it correctly. So I don't know. Again, since Rise of Skywalker, I feel like I'd say 90% of Disney Star Wars has been talking down and taking us original fans as fucking idiots, and I feel insulted. Not as much as Boba Fett, but I definitely feel insulted by Obi-Wan.
Yeah, especially he's such a beloved character of the original trilogy, and to some degree, he was kind of my favorite character too in the trilogy. Like, he had such a mystery behind him, and kind of like that's the issue with expanding on the universe with these characters is we got so much of that in the original trilogy, and that was kind of it was kind of up to us to kind of build the stories behind. There didn't have to be much said. They mentioned the Clone Wars. They mentioned there's this history between Obi-Wan and Vader, right? That we know.
And you filled in all the blanks, and that's more powerful.
Yeah.
Anything they could put on screen.
I mean, honestly, like, I do wish, and I think they're going to eventually, I just read a story about Taika Waititi doing a Star Wars trilogy that's separate from the whole Skywalker saga and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's where I kind of, even though, the reality is Disney owns the Star Wars property, I kind of wish they started there.
Yeah.
Instead of kind of, trying to milk a lot of these characters from, these movies that we love. And yeah, it sucks that, like, it's going to kind of end on, I don't know if they're going to eventually stop using the characters. I'm sure they will keep using them. But, it just sucks that we've had this, like, kind of treatment to these characters. And,
yeah.
I was okay with, like, this is who Obi-Wan is in my mind, after the original trilogy, and seeing him guide Luke throughout the series. And then it's like, it's like playing the whole thing where, like, he met Leia, like, as a kid, and, like,
and he's a fucking stupid character, and Obi-Wan's not a stupid character. Obi-Wan is clever. Obi-Wan is strong with the Force. In this one, he's fucking dumb. It takes everything he's got to just use the fucking Force, and it's like, this is some bullshit, man. Why do we have a depowered Obi? I get it, they basically Last Jedi'd him. He's basically Luke in Last Jedi in this, and it's so fucking lame. I'm so disappointed, but what are you gonna do? It's Disney Star Wars, baby. We can't. It's just
it's
large,
inescapable now, right?
It's big budget fan films. It's all it is. Don't take it seriously. It's not canon, as far as I'm concerned. Fucking stupid. Stupid show. But I'm watching it, so I guess there we go.
Yeah, I'll watch the last episode and see how that goes.
Have you watched the latest string of episodes from Stranger Things?
I did watch Stranger Things, season 4, chapter volume 1 or whatever.
Right. So, I mean, watching Stranger Things and Obi-Wan back to back, because they're premiering at the same time and everything.
Yeah.
It's staggering, the difference in production quality, in writing quality, and everything. The Disney shows look so cheap. Why? They have all the money in the fucking world. Why, why does Stranger Things look so good and this shit looks so bad?
Yeah. No, you have a point, especially for, this is the Disney the Disney machine, like, you know, they have a lot of money. They've made a lot of breakthroughs in the way they're shooting films now with like the whole volume thing. Yes, I enjoyed Stranger Things. Actually, it was probably my favorite season. I liked it than like the previous seasons, and I was watching behind the scenes on the Vecna character, and it's all like practical. They built like a full suit for this guy, and obviously with some additional CG kind of warping and stuff. But you could tell they really wanted to have very interesting character and kind of villain for the season, and I thought it was the strongest season so far from Stranger Things.
I agree. I don't give a shit about Stranger Things, and here I am like, fuck, this is really good. This is good. This is the best it's probably been, and I love that it's the characters I could give a shit about, which are Finn, fucking what's his name, the bowl haircut, the brother, 11. They're all off kind of on the fringes of this season. It's like, great. I didn't love it when they were on screen anyway. I honestly can't stand 11. And when they are around, they've got that great new stoner character, the brother's best friend, who drives the van, who I was like, I thought he would like wear on me, but I think he provides like just the right amount of levity.
Especially for not being experiencing all this stuff that all these people have experienced in the previous seasons. He is that kind of audience character.
Absolutely. But
you're right, dude. It is pretty shocking the difference in quality. Where I think a lot of the budget with Disney right now is going towards those shows and really pushing the Disney Plus train and getting people on board with that. So
well, they have like 8 more shows to debut just this year between Marvel and Star Wars. Like, they're spreading themselves so fucking thin, and they're relying completely on CGI. If you look at that bullshit She-Hulk trailer, that was fucking cringe, man. So it's like, okay, how about let's go back to quality over quantity. I miss when we only got one superhero movie every 2 years. Like, it made you want it, made you appreciate it, even if they changed some stuff from the comics. It's like, no,
Yeah. That's a good point, man. I feel like that's like a lot of these, especially these streaming companies are they're missing out on those kind of things. Like, I think especially mentioning Stranger Things and I guess Netflix, right? They're having to kind of a lot of the licensing deals are they're going back to the original places, so they're having to push a little bit more of the content that they're creating, and I think obviously Stranger Things and some of those other shows are kind of the home base of Netflix. Like, that's why people are subscribing to that.
Well, Netflix fucking took a shit. Did you see that?
I heard about that.
They like estimated growth of like 200 million subscribers or something, and they wound up losing like 20,000 or something like that.
Jesus.
Which you can see, it's putting a smile on my face. But those bastards came out and they were like, no more vanity projects for directors, and they were specifically citing The Irishman. It's like, you produce 90% crap when it comes to movies or feature films. You get one like really good, I mean, they have quite a few really good movies, but like, you're gonna pick on that one? You kidding me?
Yeah.
Whatever. Fuck them. Shawnee.
Yeah, we'll see what the next 10 years are like with this stuff. Because I think there's gonna be a lot of changes, and maybe that stuff might come true with or maybe these companies have to look a little bit closer at the quality versus how much they're pushing out to people.
Yeah.
Because that will keep people staying on their platforms. Which is funny because I signed up for Paramount Plus and Peacock just recently, like in the last month, and I'm paying for like 6 streaming services right now.
Why did you add those ones? Why?
Paramount Plus. I really wanted to watch the Jackass Forever movie, so I did the trial,
Okay.
and then I found out all the Nickelodeon shows are on there, which for the longest time I couldn't find. They're all spread out and not kind of the older like Nickelodeon shows are on there. So I was like, yo, this is good, and for Flynn and kid stuff, it's like, oh, it's perfect, and I get to kind of reminisce about some old Nickelodeon shows. And then I mentioned, I think in our last episode, like shows we want to check out and like watch. So I've been watching Modern Family on Peacock.
I'm sorry, that's terrible.
It's actually.
I know. I'm kidding.
It's weird because I guess it's starting to relate to me now because it's like parents and kids and stuff. But that's kind of the only thing I watch on there, on Peacock.
Damn, you can find that for free somewhere. I would not be paying for Peacock.
Yeah, somewhere. So we're kind of doing a, like Dallas is still paying for her Netflix, so we're trying to like, dwindle down so we don't have like two of stuff, or you know what I mean. And then I think the most I've been watching on has been HBO. I think Max. That's been like
Sam.
Yeah. This is good show. They produce always great shows on HBO. So it's like that's the quality that I always look for. And obviously with HBO being around for so long, right? It's built that kind of that audience, right, of people expecting this kind of quality of shows. So I never really, any new show that's on there, I might give it a go because it's just like I know they'll produce something really cool, So that's gonna be the question. I think it's like, what are these streaming services gonna choose? Are they gonna choose the quality over the quantity, or push out more stuff? And I think it's
quantity because they need content, baby. Especially when people are consuming it over a weekend.
Exactly. Or shows ending. Like I think Netflix has canceled like so many shows because it's just like it's not hitting numbers as they want it to be. So, anyway.
Insane. All right. How about you? I can't really breathe in this heat. How about?
I know. And I've been wearing these headphones too. These are like the worst headphones for the weather, and I couldn't take them out, but I can hear you clearly with the headphones on. So.
Okay. You've been echoing a little bit, but I think you're not at the moment, so you're good.
Okay, cool.
Shawnee, let's get to some lists, man.
Let's do it.
Would you like to go first? Would you like I to go first?
You can go first, Joey.
I will go first. Jonathan, you posed a certain list to me earlier, and so I fired back with one that's in the similar realm. So what I'm about to ask you is going to be the theme for tonight's episode. What are your top 5 favorite British films?
British films. Man, there's a lot when I kind of broke it down, but these 5 are kind of the ones that always stick out to me. Number 5, I got a Monty Python's Life of Brian.
Very nice.
Which I think I've mentioned before on the show. It's kind of follows the it's kind of like a comedic take on the Jesus storyline, but it's about not Jesus but Brian, who also goes through all the different things that Jesus went through, like being arrested by Pontius Pilate and crucified and all that stuff.
All the fun parts.
All the fun parts. Anyways, yeah, it's Monty Python written all over it. It's got like the humor, the kind of the gags that Monty Python usually has. It's super funny. It's got like just very strange scenes, and it's set in this specific time period, but sometimes they kind of break that a little bit, and that's always a Monty Python thing where it doesn't have to be very accurate to the time. And it's just always a lot of fun when I watch it. So number 5, Monty Python's Life of Brian.
Very nice.
Number 4, I've got a Guy Ritchie film on here. It's Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Kind of it's one of those kind of multiple. They introduce you to different characters, and it's about these guys that are trying to find these these very valuable guns, pretty much, and it's this whole kind of gambit between who owns the guns, and it falls kind of closely to like Snatch, which is another movie Guy Ritchie did, where it's a similar thing. These different like hired gunmen or hired people who are trying to collect a certain item, and they're all kind of after it. So
basically, it's a Guy Ritchie movie.
It's a Guy Ritchie movie, very stylized and all sorts, and it's really funny. And what I remember, I think who is in this one? I think I might be getting Snatch mixed up a little bit, but it has a few other characters from Snatch. I don't know if it's Jason Statham's in this one, but he might be in Snatch. I didn't get those mixed up.
He's in that one.
He's in that one too, right?
Yeah. And
So
I'm trying to remember the one guy's name, but
yeah. And it's
Vinnie Jones.
Vinnie Jones, yes.
Vinnie Jones.
Soccer hooligan Vinnie Jones. So it's a wild ride. It's a Guy Ritchie style, so it's a lot of action, and it's kind of constantly going. I feel like it never really has a moment to breathe, which I feel like is his kind of style of filmmaking. Very chaotic and everything like that. So number 4, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
A good one. Actually, I've never seen it. I've never seen it.
Watch it.
No, I've always meant to. I think I've started it twice, and for some reason, but I've owned it for like
British.
15 years.
It's very British.
I will watch it.
And another very British movie, number 3, Trainspotting, with our boy Ewan McGregor in it, and directed by.
I believe he shows pain in this movie.
I think so. I can't remember, but it's a lot of
I'll never forget.
A lot of drug use. A movie that taught me never to do heroin, ever.
You needed a movie to teach you that.
Yeah. But I think it's one of, I didn't see too many early Ewan McGregor movies, but he's brilliant in this movie, and it kind of reminds me of like a Guy Ritchie movie, because in the first half of the movie, it's kind of about drug abuse and kind of the rebellious youth and all these kind of certain themes. And then as it further gets along, it kind of turns into a heist movie. So it kind of switches its tone a little bit near the end, but I think it works well for it, and it has a very good kind of start and kind of bookend. It's very smart with its dialogue, and it has a lot to say, I think, in the movie. So Trainspotting from number 3.
Very nice.
Number 2, I've got Shaun of the Dead, which is my first Simon Pegg movie and first Edgar Wright movie I ever saw. Didn't know I kind of had a feeling what this movie would be about. It's like a funny Dawn of the Dead. It had the zombie kind of comedic thing, but it's so British. It has, it partially takes place in a pub, and there's a lot
you gotta
of
love that.
Yeah, it reminds me of being in England, when I'm there. So it's like, it's very, and of course with Simon Pegg and Nick Frost and their kind of, their chemistry together, and the way they, even the scenes where, Sean is walking to the liquor store, and the cornettos, and just everything screams like, England, and it's very it really captures that kind of life and that environment over there, and then just the backdrop of a zombie kind of apocalypse story happening on top of it. It's really fun, and it made me obviously watch more of Edgar Wright's movies, and of course they have the Cornetto trilogy, which has 2 other films by Edgar Wright, and also starring Simon Pegg and Nick Frost. So yes, it's my favorite one of those 3 that they put forward. So Shaun of the Dead.
Very nice.
And for number 1, a movie directed by Shane Meadows. It's a movie called This Is England. just in the title, it's very, very English. I think it takes place in the 70s, and it's about this young kid who it's about this young kid who kind of becomes friends with these, like, I would say maybe poser skinheads.
They're not real skinheads.
But they dress
outward skinheads.
Yeah, they dress like the rebellious, but I don't think they fully stood by it. But there are characters in this crew that are legit trying to push the skinhead like mentality, and it's very interesting. It shows, like, this kid's just trying to find a group to belong to, and he gets picked on at school, and he becomes friends with these skinheads, and it's fun and games kind of like partway through the movie, and he's having fun. He's found a group to belong to, and then as the movie continues, stuff gets a little bit more intense, and the kind of skinhead mentality, he understands, like, oh, this is not who the group I belong to. And it's very English. I mean, it's set, I forgot what the town is, but it's set, it's very English, 70s English themes and places, and kind of things that were happening at that time. It's a good kind of window into that time period and everything. So, and I
almost sounds like an American History X.
It's very similar. Instead of kind of having an older character, I mean, I know, what's it called? Forgetting his name, Edward Norton.
Edward Norton?
In that movie, he was kind of like a teenager or something like that, or like a young adult or something like that. It's crazy to think, like, it's a younger kid in this movie, and of course, you may not know everything that's happening, or you're just kind of oblivious to those things because of just your experience, and it's interesting to see, like, a shift in the kid's thought and thinking throughout the movie as he's kind of enjoying his time with his other kids. So it's pretty intense. It's a very intense movie, and yeah, it kind of takes that turn a little bit, kind of like American History X. So those are my top 5.
Right on. Well, that's a good 5. That's a very good 5. I feel like I have a light 5 in comparison. But I'm gonna start my list with an Edgar Wright, and I'm gonna go with World's End, or At World's End. World's End.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a movie about a pub crawl with robots and aliens and shit.
Those come, like, literally, like, a little past halfway of the movie. I feel that.
Yeah.
It's a sci-fi element, right?
Exactly. So it's got everything you could want in a movie, really. Simon Pegg has brown hair in it, which is wild. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed this flick. It's a lot about realizing you need to grow up when you've been acting young for so long. Simon Pegg's character is, still acting like he did when he was 20, and the whole movie is kind of him coming to the realization that, all right, maybe not, you know what I mean? But he still has to do this one pub crawl before he can move on. And yeah, Edgar Wright always kind of strikes that wonderful balance between plot and character, and it always has something to say, which is nice. Number 4, I'm going to go Alfred Hitchcock's The Lodger, A Story of the London Fog. This is Hitchcock's 3rd film, I believe, and it's silent. And it's kind of basically a movie about Jack the Ripper, and it's kind of scary. And it's fucking awesome. It's really good. The Criterion Collection put it out. But yeah, so it's this very simple story about this man who comes to be a lodger at this lodging house, and the people there kind of start suspecting him of being Jack the Ripper, or they don't call him Jack the Ripper, but basically that kind of, and the imagery in it is just spectacular. It's a wonderful looking movie. Really eerie, creepy, kind of scary. The silent era adds to that atmosphere of fear. Atmosphere, that's a new band name. Number 3, I had 2 Stanley Kubrick films on here, but I was like, he's American, even though he directed in England for the latter half of his career. I think Barry Lyndon might be my favorite Stanley Kubrick film at the moment.
Okay.
But I feel like Clockwork Orange is more, because Barry Lyndon's about an Irish guy, right? Whereas Clockwork Orange is kind of this British dystopia. So I'm sliding Clockwork Orange. Or wait, no, I'm sorry. Fuck me. That was my number 2.
Oh, okay.
Number 3, I'm gonna go Skyfall. I love Skyfall. Skyfall's great.
Yeah.
We saw it 3 times in the theater. Beautiful shots of London, beautiful shots of like the underground, and everything. It's wonderful. Number 2 is Clockwork Orange. Wonderful morality play, incredible. And then number 1 is one of my all-time favorite films, The Third Man, by Carol Reed, starring Joseph Cotton, Anita Valley, and Orson Welles. And just a wonderful. I can't even, it's comedic, it's romantic, it's a thriller, it's a mystery, it's all these different wonderful things. And it's got that great zither going all the way through.
Yeah, the soundtrack and everything.
Yeah, the score is just maybe my favorite score in all of movies and everything. Third Man, number 1.
Third Man.
Yeah.
Was that shot in England or in
Vienna?
Vienna. Yeah.
War-torn Vienna, but the director Carol Reed is British, and it was I think the British Film Company or something like that was who actually produced the film, or something like that. Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah.
Dang. Okay. I was thinking Third Man would probably be on there because I remember
so much.
British.
It might be in my top 3 or 4 these days.
I feel like it's been up there for you for a while.
I mean, it's been in 5. It's been in slot 5.
Slot 5, right?
With Dumb and Dumber, but I think it's probably up at like number 3 by itself.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know. It's tough. It's really tough.
It's tough.
Hey, imaginary audience, this is Sean. We apologize for our technical difficulties. We didn't get to finish the rest of the episode. If you want to find us on our social medias, you can find us at Top5Pod, TOPFIVE, the number 5 pod. Same goes for our email, top5pod@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to our show. Give us a listen, give us a follow, and we will give you all our love in return. Thanks for listening.